Yo, 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 what's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Checking in with the pattern watchers. I hope everyone is doing well today. Mad love and respect to anyone passing through to the channel. If you are new, be sure to like and subscribe. You know the deal. Always do it at the end of the video, ladies and gentlemen, because we got to earn that subscription. You know how it is. So, what's the story with Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen? But more importantly, what's the title about? It's the truth. If you don't follow this, you don't stand a chance. Now, you've noticed that I've been talking more about macros because we seem to have this understanding that Bitcoin moves with the S&P, okay? We always make reference to news announcements because we always wait to see what it's going to be, and then Bitcoin's going to move straight after. What you've got to remember, guys, is this. From the top side of the markets, it's all about where the money is going to go. Now, there are many strategies that these hedge funds, institutional traders, market makers, governments, you name it. There are many strategies that they apply so that they can capitalize on making that extra buck just to line the bottom line. Whether that is going over and getting low interest assets such as dollar and yen, and then going and getting high yielding assets such as Aussie, okay? And then going forward and taking advantage of other appreciating assets such as gold, silver, grain, oil, you name it. They move money around. Money is never lost. When you say that you've lost money, it means that you are psychologically and emotionally attached to the idea of value. If you switch it over and say, okay, that money was transferred elsewhere, it's a zero-sum game. Yes, one man's fun is another's hell, but the idea is that you change your mind to thinking of the money being transferred. You are then preparing yourself for the next trade, which could also transfer it back. Now, take that as a means of structure in your mind, because people get very emotional when it comes to money. See, someone might lose $500 in a trade, and then he'll look and think that $500 could be a payment for, I don't know, his rent, mortgage, maybe a payment that is due for a friend that he wants to repay back, but he used it to see if he could double up, a car payment, groceries. You know the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Any emotional attachment that you have with money is going to be reflected in your trading. Now, the only way that we can really give ourselves a fighting chance in this game is if we understand how is money being transferred across the board. So you may have heard me make reference to the dollar index. Why is the dollar index important? The dollar index is important because it tells us the appreciation in value of the dollar. Right now, the dollar index is showing that the dollar index is showing that the dollar itself is appreciating by 7%. Okay? Trading at 107.3. We've had a big move in the actual dollar itself. Now, the disparity says that any asset against the US dollar, if it starts to appreciate, that's because the dollar itself is depreciating. So if we look at the dollar index now, we can see it's starting to move down. That tells us that Bitcoin should be moving up, and Bitcoin is showing that behavior. But what we've noticed lately, ladies and gentlemen, is Bitcoin, in principle, should have been going lower when the dollar index shot up. Okay? That's really important. And that's starting to tell us that something is about to change. When the appreciation of the dollar is increasing, right? And assets against the US dollar are increasing as well, something's not right in the mix. Is it simply because we have had such a big drawdown in the indexes? I mean, look, the S&P have been dropping down. Such aggressive moves to the downside. Are traders now just favoring a move back up? Are they inflated? Are they exhausted with the idea of lower price action? Now it's time to start getting their hands into stocks. Because when you see the NASDAQ and the S&P moving up, as long as the volume is present, ladies and gentlemen, it tells you that traders are committing liquidity into assets. Okay? Now, here's something for you. When the NASDAQ and the S&P finish positive for the day and it's above 1%, as long as volume is present, it means it's an accumulation day. That tells us that traders are buying stock. Institutional fund managers, you name it, they're buying up stock. If it's down 1% and it's trading in the red, as long as the volume is present, it means it's a distribution day. That means traders are getting rid of stock, because we come to the stock market to take on risk. We want to speculate on the idea that Tesla, for example, is going to move up. I mean, look at this. Beautiful vector recovery across the board. Okay? Look at them coming back up into that violet vector candle right there. Tesla on the 15-minute time frame looks like it's pretty much followed Bitcoin's move. But notice how this is showing you that traders are picking up stock. Money's coming in. That's going to help you understand what's going on across the board. Back to the dollar index itself, ladies and gentlemen. The dollar index is made up of a basket of currency pairs. The main currency pair that makes up the dollar index is the euro, which is what threw pretty much everyone, even myself, when euro completely dropped to the downside. All right? And the dollar index shot up. Bitcoin did not move. Bitcoin just stayed in this zone. It held the zone. We are anticipated that if the euro is dropping, the dollar index is rising, you anticipate that assets against the dollar are going to fall. But that wasn't the case, ladies and gentlemen. You see, the euro makes up 56% of the dollar index. So when the euro is dropping, it tells you that investors are running to dollar. So you then look for assets such as USD CAD. This is a big look. I mean, look at that. Look at that for a move on USD CAD. This happened when oil tanked. What's the importance about USD CAD and oil? Simple. When oil rises, it's good news for the Canadian dollar, which is why USD would drop. When oil drops, it's great news for the dollar because it can appreciate in value, but the Canadian dollar depreciates because it's losing on creating oil. It's one of the biggest oil producers as well. So that's going to help you understand the relationship with how dominant is the dollar. You have the dollar index, you have USD CAD, you can correlate that over to the actual oil index itself. Here's the oil futures, light crude oil. And look at what it's doing. Recovering back up into the red vector candle. That tells us that the Canadian dollar is trading stronger. Now, could the oil be an influence on the idea that traders may still think that recession is coming, or it's already here and they want to hedge themselves and run to commodities? Which will then lead you into the understanding of gold. Gold's going to help you understand something. Now, gold has been consolidating for a very long time. And it's only broken down here, which tells you that the dollar dominance is there because gold is depreciating and it's not acting as a safe haven. Whenever you see news announcements coming out for the dollar, usually gold shoots up when the news is bad and drops when the news is good. Okay? So you as the trader, how are you going to start your day? Yeah, cool, Tino. Thank you very much for letting me know and just talking about all these other assets across the board. Happy days, bro. How can I use that information to place trades and exploit the understanding of what could happen in any asset you decide to trade, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any other Forex pairs, whatever it is you decide to do? The key takeaway is narrative. You have got an idea of what traders are feeling like. You have got an idea of how likely the transfer of liquidity is going to go from one aspect, which could be towards dollar, to the other, which would be towards Bitcoin, Ethereum, Euro, GBP. when you understand that and you correlate that to the chart, you would say to yourself, okay, if the futures are pointing to open lower, you might hear in news articles where they say the futures markets are tipped to open lower this afternoon in pre-market analysis and what have you. You'll get the idea that there may be a bit of a sell-off going into the first hour of trading, which is why we focus on the Brinks box so much, because the Brinks box initiates the move. Look at what happened today in Bitcoin's Brinks box. Look at how they done the dirty on traders. They dropped price to the downside. The Brinks box formed at the lows of the session. And then they initiated the stop hunt to the upside. Remember this box that I draw off for you all the time during the live streams in the New York session open. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe for those guys. We do bring the fire. We do speak pretty fast. We're breaking down price action in real time. Bitcoin goes up, Bitcoin goes down, but welcome to the game of trading. This is the game of speculation, ladies and gentlemen. You got to love it. Don't hate it. You've just got to love it. It is a tax on the soul, ladies and gentlemen. It really does show you who you are as a person when you come to the game of trading, which is why it's the hardest, easiest way to make money. Brinks box forms at the low of New York session right there, ladies and gentlemen. You can see they initiate the stop hunt, rise, low, stop hunt again, coming into the zone, and then they initiate the move to the upside. Look at where it forms. Look at what had happened. 1, 2, 3 hits to the low. Mr. Market Maker traps the retail trader short, consolidates, 2 stopping volume candles. First green vector candle that appears above the 50 EMA is the understanding that price is likely to continue higher. If you do see one below moving averages, it's an indication that things could actually change and move in the direction of wherever the vector candle is appearing. What you want to be aware of is the vectors that appear below the moving averages but don't actually gain much ground. Look at this one right here. It comes here and then you don't see anything else happening afterwards. Price has just come from an aggressive move lower. So this green vector candle has a lot of work to do. If you double tap the screen and get the volumes, you can see today's volume in the 5-minute time frame has been huge. That has been a huge amount of transactions in Bitcoin. Look how it dwarfs all of this volume over here. All right. So you can see that zone right there, not much activity. You wouldn't base any longs on that principle. You see it drops lower, and then you see another green vector here. Tries to get above the 50, no success. Stopping volume candle right there, no success. You are favoring lower price. Look in the chart. Do you think they could come back down into that zone? Cool. Yes, I'm talking in hindsight. But then go and apply the same way of thinking when you see the candlesticks print in real time and tell me if they do repeat themselves. Go back in the charts, ladies and gentlemen, and you'll see the same thing happening over and over again. Where's the first green vector candle? Here we are. Look at this one. First green vector candle that appears right here. 2 red vector candles there. Not strong enough for the move. They initiate the move up. Retrace. Oh, what is that? That happens to be exactly the same play that happened over here, ladies and gentlemen. Is that a coincidence? No, because it always happens. You've just got to be in the right time and looking at the chart to notice it actually developing. Brinks box forms at the low of the zone, stop hunt low, up it goes. Nice little W formation right there. Go back to yesterday. Same story happens right here. Nice W formation. First green vector candle appears above the 50 EMA. Does it follow through? Happy days. Look left, see the structures. Are they going to take those zones? Yippee-ki-yay to the upside, ladies and gentlemen. Should we do it again? Let's do it one more time, just to get you all hyped up. Where's the Brinks box right here? Now, this session was pretty choppy, but look at it. Brinks forms at the lows, W formation right here, stop hunt rise, comes back down, W formation structure inside of there, they continue back up. First green vector candle that appears above the moving average, it appeared right there, bit of an awkward structure, but it's good that you see this because then you're going to be able to establish the difference between one that works and one that doesn't. You can see it's choppy price action that's happening right here. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope that puts things into perspective for you. Going into the idea of what we can expect Bitcoin to do next. Now, given that we've had this influx of liquidity coming into this zone, Bitcoin's made a nice move to the upside, recovered the vector candles, and we are now stalling around this 22,900 zone. The fact that we've just seen this aggressive move up, and we have now got a gap in the chart. We are going into the weekend, so please, if you've made money, take it, ladies and gentlemen, because Mr. Market Maker is going to be sipping that chai. He's going to be kicking back, sipping on the bourbon, and he's going to be sitting back, relaxing, whilst he knows people are trying to run the charts on the weekend, getting thrown about left, right, and center. See, what's going to happen at the weekend is being prepared for right now. Any movement to the upside, ladies and gentlemen, that you can exploit, happy days, take it. Be mindful of this zone. Why? It is an extended move to the upside, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin has now made its way up and held this 50 EMA on the 1 hour time frame, which is what we want to see Bitcoin do to move higher. But we are close towards that 800, ladies and gentlemen. And we can't do anything unless that 800 is broken, violated, taken away, price goes above it, retraces back into the zone, continuation to the upside, zoom out, look at where price is likely to end up. The good thing is Bitcoin has broken above this midpoint of the peak of the W formation, but it hasn't broken through it to continue higher. Be very cautious with the fully concentrated zones of green vectors in this area. We have got a lot of green vectors that they haven't come back to in this zone. Regardless of how much of a strong move it is, ladies and gentlemen, there's still money for them to grab. Always pay yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Mad love and respect to anyone who has watched the video all the way to this point. If you are new to the channel and you want these indicators, make sure you go to the Traders Reality website, tradersreality.com, and you'll be able to download these indicators free of charge. There's a few walkthroughs and you can get it all up and running on TradingView. You want access to the Patreon? Check out Patreon, where we've got about 67 masterclasses where we dive into deeper aspects of the hybrid system that we can't really talk about on the live streams. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves a great weekend. And I'll be checking in with you guys on Sunday night to start all over again. Take care of yourselves, family. Peace.